Welcome back, Dr. Troy Dukowitz here. Super excited for week 2's tip. Man, this one is, we're gonna have fun with this one. The reason for this is because we're affecting all senses here. We're affecting auditory, we're affecting kinesthetic, and we're affecting visual. So this is a great experiential process to have for your patients as they come in. This is essentially, you could call it if you want, posture week. Why? Because we know that kids are going back to school, and kids carry backpacks. So do college students, they carry backpacks. And if you watch people carrying their backpacks, what do you typically see? Well, we typically see this, or we typically see this, right? So this gives you a great opportunity to talk about subluxation, to talk about how this structure of what we see right now is an outward manifestation of subluxation. So this is a really cool, really fun tip to have. Here's what we have to do though. I'll be right back. You got to pull out some backpacks, folks. You got to pull out some backpacks because what we're going to do is we're going to have people, when they come into the office, we're going to give them a backpack or a purse. Now, what you don't do is load these up with friggin' cement blocks. You're not trying to hurt anyone, and don't give it to someone who's got a hot back or has something going on. So, be sure you're paying attention to people as they come in, but have a lighter backpack for that person who does have issues, and have them put it on. And the whole point, especially if we can have a little bit of weight in it, the whole point is because that person knows. Most people out there are well aware of what their posture is when they're carrying, women when they're carrying a purse, and anyone else when they're carrying a backpack. This now stimulates the conversation. So if you have 3 adjusting tables, you're going to have a couple of purses and a couple of backpacks. Now, some of you are sitting there going, oh, what a pain in the ass. I got to have a backpack and a purse. Get over yourself. Experiential processes are an incredible way for people to learn and to understand how their bodies break down in the first place. Because today it's a backpack, tomorrow it's a purse. For men, it's a wallet in the back of their in their back pocket, right? And men carry, now more days, you're seeing men carrying the man bags, and you're seeing them carry their backpacks because they're bringing those things to work. If they still use briefcases, I don't know, haven't seen one in a long time, but a briefcase still does the same thing because you end up leaning to compensate for that briefcase. So this is a tremendous opportunity to get people involved with this and generate conversation. So, obviously, we want to make sure that we have a backpack that is, again, not super heavy, but not incredibly light. And when you have a purse, again, maybe it's 5 pounds that you have within this purse. But make this something where when somebody picks it up, they really notice, like, wow, that has an impact. Ask them to carry it with them to the adjusting room. So whatever room they're going to, or wherever their table is, the adjusting bay they might go to, or whatever table they're going to, whatever hot seat, have them carry it with them. And then when they carry it with them, ask them just to pay attention to how they're moving their body and how they're using this. And if they say, oh, it's so light, it doesn't feel like anything, say, well, I want you to imagine when you are carrying something. How does it feel when you're carrying something? How does it feel when the body starts to get a little tired from carrying something? So at the front desk, I'm just looking for involvement to get them to carry this. And if they make some sort of snide remark, just say, look, Troy, just humor us today. Carry that with you to the table, but imagine it's the backpack that you've carried before. Imagine it's a briefcase you've carried before, a suitcase you've carried before, anything that you've carried before. What usually happens to your body when you're carrying it? Because that's what Doc's going to talk to you about today. Now, when they get into, so now we have the doctor portion of the conversation. Docs, this is a tremendous opportunity, again, I'll say it again, to talk about the outward manifestation of subluxation. That all of a sudden we start seeing people who are coming in with a high shoulder. We see people who are coming in with a high ear. We see people who are coming in with high hips. The body is adapting in a different way. It's trying to compensate for what's going on. And what you and I know is over time, eventually there's going to be some level of a problem that starts to take place. So if we can talk to our patients about this impact. Here's what this does. Look at your child. They're 10 years old and they're carrying a backpack like this, or they're carrying a backpack like this to school. All that's doing is increasing the likelihood and the probability of them being subluxated and having future problems. The bonus with chiropractic is that we can help to make sure that the spine is growing and developing properly so that we can adapt to those stresses appropriately and become healthier and stronger as we age. So this is a tremendous opportunity to get involved with your patients on this conversation. It is a door opener for referrals. Mary, we've talked about getting your son in before. I know he's going into 8th grade. Books get heavier. How about we finally look at him and see where his nerve system is at right now? If you decide to do nothing, that's okay. We at least have record of how he started the school year. We'll check again in 6 months or 8 months, and we'll see how his body's responded and or adapted over that time period. So it opens a door for you no matter what. This can be a really fun tip. Make sure you use your nerve charts with this one because, again, you're showing innervation, where nerves go to. Use your hands. Make this very hands-on. We're already carrying a bag or a purse. Put your hands on the person's neck and say, well, you know, here's the deal. The nerves here run down your shoulders to your fingertips. Nerves here go to heart and lungs. Nerves here go and walk around and literally by touching and teaching and telling them where these nerves go to, then simply say, so what happens if I'm carrying a backpack and I'm doing this all the time? What happens if I compensate and I'm doing this all the time, or I'm doing this all the time? And say, what do you think that's doing to the nerves? What kind of impact do you think that's having from the connection from the brain to the body? Is that interfering with that connection, or is it leaving it wide open? If this was a light switch, is it turning the lights on or off? So use whatever analogy you want to here, but this is a great way to get involved with your patients, have some fun with a backpack and a purse, and really, really drive home the message. Again, that outward manifestation of subluxation, repetitively, this done over time, is going to eventually, what happens? You start to compensate. The body starts to compensate. You try to adapt and you're compensating in different ways, and that's going to increase the likelihood of subluxation taking place. So, hope you enjoy this one. The little bonus that we've thrown in here is that if people want tips, no worries. We've got it with the logo at the bottom. Hey, yeah, we've got some tips on how to carry your purse. We've also got tips for the backpack to make sure that you're carrying it correctly. Please feel free to take more than one. Pass them out to your friends so that they can learn how to, and by the way, this is not backpack safety. You heard me say this in the overview. This isn't backpack safety. And yet, if you have reports in your area of backpacks attacking people, please let us know. I digress. Now, what this is, though, is it's showing them effective ways to be able to carry this so that, especially when you look at the kids who are already in our offices, that's going to help them to hold their adjustments actually longer if they're focusing on proper posture when doing this. If you have kids who are not in your office yet, this is that door that opens up that allows us to slowly start to walk through to get those kids into our office to get checked. All right, so there it is. There you have it. That is week number 2. Make sure you have that conversation with the doc. Make sure you guys talk about how it is that you want to implement this. Some of you might want to talk about just posture and health. Some of you might want to just use the bags. Whatever it is, make sure you make the decision. Make sure you lock and load and go for it. And I can't stress enough, use the nerve charts. I know that the bonus of the month, one of the alternatives of the month was using a poster. Man, this is such a great opportunity to use a poster, or don't forget, the hands-on, and just trace things in the body, explaining to people where they go. All right, have a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.